Welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Foolish Fish Esoteric News, with your weekly updates on the worlds of esoteric and occult book publishing and arts and events and paraphernalia. Well, on this channel I've got some good news. It is very good news, however, lots of it, and we're starting with news from Ouroboros Press, and news from Ouroboros Press is always excellent, exciting news, at least from my perspective. They have received their proof copy of Antoine de Gebelin's On the Tarot, which is their latest edition, which is currently on pre-order, and you can actually pre-order those directly through their website. There are two options rather than two editions. I might be wrong here, but from what I can see, both the standard hardcover and the deluxe edition both have the same details here. However, what is different, of course, is that the deluxe edition has or comes with 26 tarot cards, being the major arcana and the four aces. So if you are interested in Antoine de Gebelin, who was majorly influential, of course, on the occult revival of the late 19th century and early 20th century, this is definitely going to be one that you're going to want to look into. And yeah, there are going to be 78 of these these deluxe editions, which is of course a nice touch, 78 being the number of cards in a tarot deck, and look at the price right there as well. So that's really, really nice. I think that's everything there is to say about this particular release. So let's move on to to news from Simon Bastian. Simon has posted this very exciting post on Facebook, a pre-official release, he's calling it, which is nice. And yes, indeed, it's not available for scrutiny on Hadean Press's website yet, but I'm sure it will be very soon. Hadean Press make these guides to the underworld. They're these pamphlets rather than more substantial books. And Simon Bastian has made this one called Before Completion, I Ching and its correspondences in Western occultism. Very exciting, very directly related to what I'm interested in. The I Ching is an oracle that has always responded very directly to me, very carefully, very accurately, and that I have in turn responded to very positively. I really, really love the I Ching, and to see this I Ching in Western occultism, I think that's a really nice topic to explore. So thank you so much, Simon. That's an exciting one that I'm sure many of us are looking forward to. Moving on to news from Roberto Miliusi. I'm sorry, Roberto, but I don't know how to pronounce your middle name. However, Michael Berthiaud is an occultist whom I didn't know very much about before finding out about this. The Secret Lives of Cagliostro, volume 3 of 3, is on the brink of being available to purchase. Volumes 1 and 2, have been available through Cyclic Law for a while now. For those of us in Europe, for those of you in North America, you can buy them directly through Wiser Antiquarian Books. But it seems that for this third volume, the first 100 copies, the third volume includes for the first 100 copies a humble present to you all, to all of you who have supported this beautiful and challenging project. That's really nice. So I'm guessing that if you are interested in being a part of those 100 people who will get that little additional thing, whatever it ends up being, you can actually get in touch with Roberto via email right there. So that's quite nice. There we go. As I say, I didn't know a huge amount about Michael Berthiaud, but I'll leave a link to his Wikipedia page down in the description, and I'm sure many of you will agree that I might be the only one out there who doesn't know about Michael Berthiaud, but for those of you who are possibly like me, you might agree that he seems like a very interesting person. There we go. I'll let you discover in your own time. Moving on to news from David Chaim Smith. Now, I am waiting for this page to be updated, and I can see that it's not updated quite yet, but in the next few minutes, there will be a new square on this page. David Chaim Smith is receiving today the copies of his latest volume in the Lightning Flash of Aleph series, and you know how exciting that is. Of course, I will make a proper feature of this in next week's edition, but if you're watching this, then it's likely that it's already available for purchase. So do go and check out the website. It should be any minute, possibly hour now, but definitely today you should see that becoming available. I know also that David Chaim Smith is going to be making a course to go along with this latest book. I'll talk about it a little bit more next week when the book is a little bit more visible, right? And I've got something a little bit more tangible for you guys. Nevertheless, I'm sure many of you are as excited about this as I am, so I thought I'd let you in that little tidbit. There we go. Moving on to news from Penn State University Press. Very exciting news here. They have 3 new books and in their religious studies series, and they are offering 30% off them with this code NR22 with capital letters NR. And just looking at the titles here, we've got Holiness and Pentecostal Movements, Intertwined Pasts, Presents and Futures. We've got Spiritual Calculations, Number and Numeracy in Late Medieval English Sermons. Also a very exciting title, right? And then we've got Village Infernos and Witches Advocates, witch hunting in Navarre in the early 17th century. Some very nice titles there. And if you go directly through the Penn State University website and use that promo code, 30% off is not negligible. Great. Moving on to news from John Michael Greer, The Druid Path, a modern tradition of nature spirituality. So this is volume 11 of The Modern Day Witch, which is, from what I gather, it's a series of books which has many different authors collaborating on it. And the latest one is by John Michael Greer. John Michael Greer, who is the archdruid of his order. Just a little note maybe to point out that Druidry, of course, is a tradition that was entirely lost. And so anything that you might find today about Druidry is not going to be drawing from those ancient Druid mysteries. It will be a best guess kind of thing, right? It's a reconstruction. Nevertheless, I know that many people will be very interested in that best guess, right? I guess something is better than nothing. And John Michael Greer's been doing quite a good job of spearheading that movement. He's put out a few books on the topic, and this seems to be the latest one, which will be available from the 1st of March, so in a couple of days' time. Not long to wait now. There we are. Moving on to news from Sphere and Sundry, the Venus Speaker collection, shall I say, which has been renamed Venus's Aerial Delight, has it's been terribly delayed, and it seems that the whole blog post here is about that delay and about what this particular offering has in common with the other 2 out of 33 offerings, kind of what they have in common, right? It's a very, very interesting blog post, and if you go all the way to the bottom, of course, you can find some of the materia. Some of you may remember me showing, there wasn't a roller on mine, but I showed one of these oil bottles in my review of the Regulus 3 that Caitlin Koppock very kindly sent me through Sphere and Sundry. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll be able to see all the different materia that are available to purchase from this particular collection. It looks like a really beautiful collection. There we go. Moving on to Occulture, there's this webinar bundle, a very exciting webinar bundle, where you can get these 2 very exciting looking webinars from Helena Van El and David Rankin for a total of €111 instead of €154. So you can click on either of those and have a look at what's actually on offer here. You can get them separately, of course, if only one of them is of interest to you. We're looking at the 12th and 13th of March for Helena Van El's Heretical Witchcraft, the Natal Chart and the Will of the Witch. And David Rankin's is going to be on the 9th and 10th of April, Grimoires in Theory and Practice. So the Occulture webinars tend to be quite substantial, right? It's not like a little half an hour chit chat. It goes into a lot of depth. These are webinars that are very carefully prepared and are invariably of very high quality. So I'm sure that some of you will be interested in those particular topics, particularly from these very, very well respected speakers. Right, moving on to another conference in Glastonbury after the big Occult conference in Glastonbury last week. There is this UK Alchemy Conference for 2022, and you can read all about that directly on their website, and you can buy tickets for it directly through the website as well. It's going to be on the 11th of June. In Glastonbury, of course. The schedule is here already. It's a one-day event, and I personally don't know any of the speakers, although I can't say that I'm at the forefront of the alchemical world right now. However, the titles here seem very interesting, and there looks to be a nice mix of talks for people who already know very well what they're doing, and for others who are maybe just getting into alchemy or just curious from a layman's point of view. And that looks very exciting. Just scrolling through some of the titles there so you can have a quick look. Looks good. Right. Finally, my board game of the week is Tang Garden's Seasons. I don't own this game, but I really like the idea of this game. Full disclosure there. The point is that maybe you've played Carcassonne. This seems to be Carcassonne in a Japanese garden, and the idea is that you have to create this garden in a way that is going to give you points, right? So you're going to have particular characters who are going to want to see particular panoramas, and they're going to want to see certain trees, and they're going to want to see certain pagodas, and so on and so forth. And you're going to create these panoramas for them to see over here, with dragons on them maybe, or mountains on them maybe, or whatever they might be. And there are all these really, really nice expansions for the game, and this is the final expansion for the game, which is coming out now, which is Seasons. There's one on traditional Japanese ghosts. Is it Japanese or is it Chinese? I'm afraid I can't answer that. Yeah, it seems Japanese to me, and yeah, and it just looks gorgeous. It looks really, really nice. It looks kind of it looks like a relaxing game. There we are, and I love the concept. There we go. Okay, that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment if there's something that I missed out this week. Is there something that you wish that I had covered? And is there anything that I should be looking into in the future? Thank you so much once again for joining me today. Take care of yourselves. See you soon. Bye-bye.